Do you know why it's so important to stay active? Well, today we will find out. I have Extension Agent Patrick Zayas here to tell us all about it. Welcome, Patrick.
Thank you for having me.
How are you? Oh my gosh, always good to see you. So you have so much knowledge to share the importance of being active. So please just walk me through.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's really important to be active. I think a lot of people understand that, but I don't think they really understand the impact that it could have to your entire life.
Okay.
A lot of times people think about being active and staying fit and really just kind of think about the visual changes and body composition and things like that. But research shows that physical activity can really impact your life in a number of different ways, well beyond just looking good, but also being able to have a good quality of life, manage stress, sleep well at night. All of these different things can really be helped by just being active, doing more things to stay active.
Okay, and so what are your suggestions for activities?
Yeah, so ultimately what you want to do is you want to constantly be moving, right? I know that that's a struggle and people are aware of that, but a good rule of thumb is like any 20, 30 minutes, if you notice you've been sitting for a long time, if you've been at the desk or maybe watching TV or something, get up and move around. Generally about 20 or 30 minutes is a good time to move, but all throughout the day you want to try to encourage yourself to do things that get you up and moving. Going for longer walks or doing some sort of structured physical activity would be great, or even something like flexibility training or working on that balance is also really important.
Okay, that's really important. And it sounds like with those sorts of activities come with intention. To maybe have it be part of a routine every day. I know I personally thrive on routine.
Yeah.
So I know that if I've made that commitment, that maybe when we have routine, if you tend to not do it for some reason, if something comes up, you'll actually feel the difference. Because when you feel good, you feel good.
Exactly.
And that's a great comparative, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And a part of the routine is finding things that you like to do, right? And I love that point about have a routine, because ultimately for you to stay with something, to have a behavior change long term, it really does need to become a routine. Habits form routines. And I think, it's important to find the things that you enjoy and not force yourself to do something you're not enjoying.
Oh, if that isn't ever the truth, because it needs to be reasonable. What you enjoy may be something that wouldn't be best for me, that wouldn't bring joy to me, but you can actually have physical activity and actually feel joy about it.
Absolutely. Ultimately, you just want to try to get 150 minutes per week of regular physical activity.
Okay.
That could be broken up into, say, 5 days a week, 30 minutes a day.
Okay.
If you can't do 150 minutes of moderate physical activity, you could do 75 minutes of vigorous activity.
Okay.
A very simple way to decide if you're doing moderate or vigorous
Yes.
is the talk test. So any sort of activity, if you're able to hold a conversation throughout it, just like we are, then you're at a moderate activity. But if you're doing something, say going for a bike ride or a walk, and you notice, you're really struggling to breathe and catch your breath, then you're probably doing a little bit more of a vigorous activity. So that's just an easy way to decide.
Okay, so that's really nice. And even if you have the routine and commitment to doing something that's physical, to maybe change it up, because if you were to be outdoors, weather may be an issue for some. And so that could be an issue. Is there something they could do specifically at home? Let's just say the weather's not cooperating. Is there anything that they could do at home where they say, okay, I cannot do anything rigorous. I can't go on my bike ride. I can't take my hour-long walk with my dog. What do you suggest at home?
Sure, if you have the space, you could do something simple like using resistance bands, which are relatively inexpensive. There's lots of different resources out there, but if you do need resources, you can always contact our office. Resistance bands are great, or if you want to do something at home like flexibility. Flexibility and balance are two things that people really overlook when it comes to their activity, but they have huge impacts in your life. Being able to stay flexible, being able to lean down, pick stuff up, for quality of life purposes, those two are great, and those are things that you can work on at home, either doing some very simple like chair yoga or floor yoga, or even just balance activities, standing behind a chair and just working on standing on one leg and different things like that to try to strengthen the accessory muscles.
I think you make a really good point, because I honestly wouldn't think of that, like balance.
Yeah.
Balance. So what I'm hearing you say is that if it's something that we choose to be mindful of every day and to just kind of go with the flow, but be committed in being physically engaged. So whether or not we are inside or whether or not we're outside, maybe we can include our friends, maybe we don't.
Exactly.
But you're saying day after day, week after week, month after month, we will absolutely benefit, because as we do age, we want to be optimal.
Absolutely. So not just being able to go for a run, but you have to think about being able to, pick up your kids or grandkids or something like that as you get older. Or if you're living independently, go and walk down and get the mail, and just very small things that we really take for granted while we're younger. But if you don't do any sort of activity, if you're not working on flexibility, balance, those types of things, as you get older, those really become an issue. Not to mention chronic diseases, right? Diabetes, high blood pressure, hypertension, all those different things can impact your life as you get older, but physical activity is one of the proven ways to prevent a lot of those chronic diseases.
And what I'm also hearing you say when you're talking about the physicality, to perhaps get involved with your friends or even family, because you could also have time with those that you care about, and you can move, and it's a wonderful way to take care of one another and also keep your heart in good spirits, because when you're connected to people, that can also be emotional health along with all this physical health. So as we get older, we can all do it in a healthy way, because healthy is wealthy.
Absolutely.
Right? Well, thank you so much. I have learned so much, and I think you make a lot of valuable points. So thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope today that you have learned a lot about the importance of being healthy, to be intentional, to make choices in routine. So day after day, week after week, month after month, you can make a difference in taking care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, who else will? And you know what? Maybe call up the ones you love most and have them join you. Until next time, take good care.